There's a silence that only true heartbreak can cultivate, not the absence of sound, but the deafening roar of what once was, echoing in the hollow chambers of your present. I remember that silence vividly. It clung to me like a shroud, heavy with the dust of shattered dreams and the debris of forgotten promises. We all know it, don't we? That gnawing ache, the sting of disappointment, the crushing weight of failure, the void left by loss. It's an unavoidable tax on the privilege of living a universal currency of the human experience. Whether it's a career that crumbled, a relationship that fractured, a personal goal that slipped through our fingers, or a health crisis that stole our vitality, everyone at some point stands at the precipice of despair, gazing into the abyss of what might have been. The question isn't asterisk if asterisk will confront pain, but asterisk how asterisk we choose to face it when it inevitably arrives at our door, uninvited and unwelcome. My name is Eleanor, and for a long time, I let the silence define me. My dream, ever since I was a little girl, was to build not just structures of steel and glass, but communities, spaces where people could thrive, where design was a tool for connection and sustainability. I poured my life into becoming an architect, driven by a vision of creating homes that were more than just bricks and mortar. They were sanctuaries, designed with heart and purpose. For a while, it felt like I was living that dream. I worked for a forward-thinking firm, contributed to incredible projects, and felt the thrill of seeing my sketches take form in the real world. But then came the downturns, the economic shifts, the projects put on hold indefinitely. My firm downsized, then downsized again, and eventually, the day came when my name was on the list. Just like that, years of dedication, countless hours, and a future I had meticulously planned evaporated into a single, polite, yet devastating conversation. The initial shock gave way to a dull ache, then a burning resentment. I watched as my savings dwindled, as job applications went unanswered, as the hope I once held so fiercely began to fray at the edges. My beautiful, vibrant dream, once a beacon, now felt like a cruel mirage, mocking me from a distance. I started to believe it was never meant to be, that I wasn't good enough, that the world was simply too harsh for someone like me with my idealistic visions. This is where the choice presents itself, isn't it? This is where pain, that relentless sculptor, begins its work. It will change you, that much is certain. But whether it chisels you into something bitter, hardened by cynicism and regret, or refines you into a better, stronger, more compassionate version of yourself, that choice rests entirely within your hands. For a long time, I leaned towards bitterness. I saw the successes of others as personal affronts, their triumphs as further proof of my own inadequacy. I started to believe that my passion was naive, my ambition foolish. My sketchbooks, once filled with vibrant designs, lay forgotten in a dusty box under my bed. My creative spirit, once a roaring fire, had dwindled to a few dying embers. One dreary afternoon, months after I'd last touched a pencil to paper, I stumbled upon an old photograph. It was of me, a much younger me, standing proudly in front of a model of a community center ID designed for a university project. My eyes in that photo sparkled with an unshakable belief, a fierce determination. Looking at her, I felt a pang, not just of nostalgia, but of profound shame. How had I let that girl down? How had I allowed the world and my own internal narrative of failure to extinguish that fire? It was a small moment, a fleeting glimpse into my past self, but it was enough to crack the shell of my despair. I realized then, with a jolt that went right through me, that I had been wasting my pain. I had been letting it consume me rather than transform me. Hardship, I suddenly understood, wasn't a punishment. It was an opportunity. An opportunity to strip away the superficial, to develop character. To gain a new kind of confidence, one forged in the fires of adversity, not merely in the glow of easy success. Pain is not meant to stop us. It's not a red light signaling the end of the road. Instead, I began to see it as a crucible, a preparatory phase. It's meant to prepare us for what's next, to elevate our understanding, to develop within us reserves of resilience and empathy we never knew we possessed. My professional setbacks, my financial struggles, my crushing feelings of personal failure, they weren't roadblocks, they were lessons. They taught me about the fragility of systems, the importance of community support, the sheer grit it takes to rebuild from scratch. They taught me about myself and about what truly mattered beyond the grand titles and impressive salaries. The thought of my abandoned dream, my vision of building, resurfaced with a quiet urgency. It had been buried deep under layers of discouragement, past mistakes, and a crippling low self-esteem. But it wasn't gone. It was merely dormant, waiting for me to remember it, to reclaim it. I pulled out those dusty sketchbooks, and as I flipped through the pages, a spark ignited. It wasn't the same roaring fire, not yet, but it was a flicker, a fragile promise of warmth. The idea of pursuing my dream again felt daunting, almost laughable. I was older now, out of the loop, and acutely aware of my failures. But a new conviction had taken root. It's never too late. Never too late to shake off the dust, to mend what's broken, to become the person you were truly created to be. The world doesn't care about your past mistakes as much as it cares about your present courage. It doesn't care if your dreams haven't come true on your original timeline or if they've failed countless times before. What matters is the refusal to give up. I started small. I volunteered for a local community garden project, offering my design skills, however rusty they felt. I began sketching again, not for grand corporate projects, but for smaller, more intimate spaces, a homeless shelter renovation, a local park revitalization. Each line I drew, each conversation I had, each small problem I solved felt like a tiny victory, rebuilding not just structures, but my own sense of purpose. There were still days filled with doubt, moments when the old voices of inadequacy whispered in my ear. But I had learned to talk back. I reminded myself that my dreams were not dead. They were simply waiting for their season. The seeds had been planted, the groundwork laid, and now, after a period of dormancy, they were ready to sprout. It was just not their time yet, but my asterisk time would come. I held on to that belief with fierce tenacity. And slowly, almost imperceptibly at first, things began to shift. My volunteer work led to a small, paid consulting gig. That gig led to another, and then another. My designs, now infused with a deeper understanding of human resilience and community needs, started to resonate. People saw not just a designer, but someone who understood hardship, someone who built with empathy. I realized that the very pain that had almost broken me had, in fact, prepared me. It had elevated my perspective, deepened my craft, and developed within me an unshakable resolve. The failures hadn't stopped me, had refined me. The losses hadn't diminished me. They had taught me the true value of what I was striving for. My journey is far from over. The grand projects of my early dreams might still be on the horizon, or perhaps my path has simply diverged into something even more meaningful. But I know this, I am building again. Not just structures, but a life, brick by brick, fueled by a renewed purpose. And I believe with every fiber of my being that my time will come. Your time will come too, with breakthroughs, with new beginnings. Because your dreams are still alive, waiting for their season, waiting for you to believe in them and in yourself once more. Don't ever give up.